Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of What's the Tea. This is the 6th episode and the first episode of 2025. I have been waiting to make another one of these. I really enjoy making these. So let's get to our topics today. First on the docket, I want to talk about Monster Hunter Wilds having a second beta surprise announced here recently. I am super hyped for this. It will mostly have the same content as a previous beta, which is meh. I just want to play it some more, so that's fine with me. But, one, you can import your character from the last beta, as well as fight a returning monster, Gypceros, which, from past games that I've played, is a fun monster to play against. I do enjoy this monster, and I think it'll be fun to even have a little bit more variety here in the beta. It'll start on February 6th. And for times on that, you have to check the site for your time zone. But they have also said that the game has gone through numerous improvements, especially around the PC, which I hope is just leagues better because my PC was struggling, man. And with i9, 32 gigs of RAM, and a 4070, it should be running pretty okay, But no, I could not get it running how I wanted, so I mostly played on the PS5. However, I'm going to take their word for it because over time, Monster Hunter World, even though it had a rocky launch, is a very well regarded game as in terms of, how it runs nowadays. So maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. So look forward to that and look forward to me playing some more of that because I'm absolutely playing a little bit more of that because that is my number one most look forward to game this year so far. Second on the docket I want to talk about is Marvel Rivals. Man, oh man, this game is popping off, man. And the thing is, it does not slow down. Usually with these different Overwatch killers or whatever game killers, they pop off for a while because everyone wants to see what's up, but then they just kind of fall off after people run out of things to do or people realize it's just not what they really imagined it would be, or over a more extended period of time with it, realize that it's just not as great as they thought it was, which is kind of what I was seeing with First Ascendant because it does look pretty good. It has some pretty good graphics. It looks pretty AAA in some respects, but people started seeing it kind of shallow in a lot of places, and really is just leaning into microtransactions and getting you to buy them saucy skins, you know what I'm saying? But here with Marvel Rivals Season 1, that just dropped, we already have 2 heroes at the front end of this season that have been released, both Mr. Fantastic and Mrs. Fantastic, Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, and she is causing quite a stir with her skin. It's a choice. I am saying that, that's a cool part in the comic, that's a cool storyline, but dang folks, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Also, this season has really fueled more rumors that Blade would come to the game because this is a vampire themed season. Where's my man? Where's Blade? This is the perfect time. If you don't release Blade during the vampire season, I feel like this is a massive missed opportunity, you know what I mean? So I hope that would be a surprise drop. That would be cool. That's some heavy copium, but still. That would be a dream come true. Blade's my man. But yeah, the second end, or the second half of the season, will be bringing Johnny Storm and the Thing to the roster, and I hope they're as fun to play as Reed and Sue and actually, you know what? I have confidence they will be because most of the other heroes have been a blast to play. So I can't wait to jump back into Marvel Rivals some more at the tail end of the season to play as them. Now for the biggest part of this video, the games I am looking forward to in 2025. Now, right now, for some reason, when you're looking at all of this, a lot of the games coming out, there are some good things coming, but a lot of it doesn't have any definitive release dates right now. So I'm going to name 4 that are my most look forward to over the first few months of the year, and then the rest I'm going to put as, my most look forward to that don't necessarily have a release date yet. I am super excited for it one way or another, or just super curious about, and I need to have some answers. So let's get into the first one. Freedom Wars Remastered. Now this is such an interesting release for me. I never thought I would see this game again. I love this game. This is a Vita game originally, and I've played at least 100 hours of it. And I have not retained the knowledge of how to play it, but I'm going to relearn and play this again. And I would like to make a video on it, and maybe a play along, let's play type thing. Because it is a fun time. I do think some people should have some attention on it, because they'd be super surprised at how this game kind of mixes up the God Eater formula, which is, a different kind of Monster Hunter style game. But here you have so many different traps and tools and Attack on Titan style slings that it really changes how this game really plays out, and the formula of how these really play out with how the story is, with you being sentenced to an absurd amount of years in prison, and you essentially working off these years and using them as a currency throughout the game. Super interesting premise and game. Check it out. The next game, and probably the second most look forward to thing, which is funny because I've actually already played it. Final Fantasy Rebirth PC launch is coming at the end of January. Oh boy, I have words about this game. I love this game. It's on my top 10. It's my number 2 best game last year. That does not mean I do not have a lot of gripes with this game, because for every good thing it does, it has some things wrong with it. And after I made the top 10 list, I've dove back into looking at it, and even sat with a buddy of mine, and we sat there and kind of went, without the rose-tinted glasses of it being Final Fantasy and us loving these characters, everything else holds up. However, the visuals, this game was lacking in a few places. Not like art style wise, because art style and like how it actually looks when it's supposed to be, like what they want it to look like, is glorious. It is beautiful. However, what they gave us for the PlayStation version, I feel was less than subpar in a lot of ways. In the environments at least, we have regressed quite a bit. Character models though are popping off in this game no matter what version. However, I'm hoping on the PC version that a lot of things can be solved. One, you can be playing with a higher frame rate, so I can have some better visual clarity, because this game has no good option to play on the PlayStation. You have graphics, which barely runs at a 30 frames per second cap, maybe 20 to 25, maybe. You have performance smooth, which is what it launched with, which that doesn't look as bad as it used to. They have updated it, I will give it that, but still looks like a blurry 900p mess. Then you have performance sharp, which sharpens up the image with some sharpening techniques, but it's technically still the same as the other performance mode, just with some sharpening applied. So it's just not where it should have been for the PS5 release, I think. But that's where I'm going to sit with it, and that's where I'm sticking with it. But it's still one of my most look forward to games to play. Next on the docket of talking about for games that I'd be looking forward to would be Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, we've already talked about this game, so I don't need to say much more. Man, I'm looking forward to this, and I am going to be playing some more Monster Hunter World and uploading the rest of my playthrough on Iceborne here soon before this game comes out. I planned on doing it way earlier, but so much has been happening. But I can't wait to jump back into Monster Hunter. Now for the fourth and final confirmed release date that I most look forward to is Split Fiction. After a little bit through this trailer, this game had completely sold me. This still brings all of that creativity once I really wrap my head around what the plot was about. The actual plot of this is two writers getting stuck in their respective genre stories and having to work their way through them together, right? And with the mind of a writer being the crux of the story, I think this could go really well and really creatively in a lot of different ways. And even in this trailer, you had everything from dragons to futuristic spaceships. I just can't wait. This studio has not let me down yet, and I don't think this is going to be the first. Now, I'm going to quickly fire off unannounced release date games for 2025 that I'm either coping, will be good, or are even coming out in 2025. Borderlands 4. This, I am hoping, is much better than what we've seen. It just kind of looks like more Borderlands 3, which isn't super terrible, but fingers crossed that in the writing department, it has been upgraded tenfold, because the gameplay of Borderlands 3 was fantastic. Just tighten up that main story, because even in the side quests, those were great. The Capcom Fighting Collection 2. This is a dream come true. There's a lot of games in this, but for me, what sold it is Power Stone. Power Stone 1 and 2 being included in this fighting collection is a dream come true. I love these games. I still have my Dreamcast. I love them so much, and I even have the first one on the Dreamcast. This is great. I can't wait for this release. I will play all of them on here, but you know I'm jumping straight to Power Stone first. Crimson Desert looks almost impossible. This game is kind of doing everything. It wants to have the exploration of Skyrim, the combat of like a Devil May Cry game, or Black Desert. I think they're called Pearl Abyss, but their gameplay in Black Desert pops off and feels and looks fantastic, so I have no doubt this is going to feel and look fantastic. I just hope the world still feels interesting to explore. The story can keep up with the ambition of what the gameplay can be, and that it is as good as it presents itself. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Now this here is a third most look forward to game. Kojima is one of my favorite game makers, and you might say, oh, just because he's got so much hype behind him, yada yada yada. Now I've studied this dude, and he's got a mind that works different from other folks, and it's always interesting to see what comes from it. Whether it is something like Metal Gear Solid, which was one of my favorite game series of all time, period, bar none. Or something like Zone of Enders, which was so different from Metal Gear, and before it, and then you got Death Stranding, which is even different from both of those, right? With some elements of Metal Gear. But Death Stranding 2 looks to even take that further from the first game. So let's see how far it goes when Death Stranding 2 comes out. Directive 8020, the Dark Pictures game. Now, I know a lot of people kind of hate on the Dark Pictures games, but I love them. I have been enjoying them, and I'm going to continue to play them because they are a pretty good time, especially in co-op when it works. We had some problems with the Devil in Me when I played it with co-op with a few buddies, but we'll see how this goes. I am really looking forward to it, and I hope they can stay on the map and even have a bigger impact when Directive 8020 releases. Doom: The Dark Ages. Ooh, I love me some Doom, and I have actually been playing Doom Eternal recently again. So this is flying up and up to one of my more look forward to games too. The only reason I don't hold it as high as I normally would is because of the absence of Mick Gordon. That is just a damn travesty. Come on, id. Come on, Bethesda. Kiss and make up, because Mick is the way. Mick needs to be here. Do right by this game. Because apart from the gameplay being sublime, the music in Doom is like half of the experience. So if the music isn't popping off, the game won't feel nearly as good. And with how good it looks, that would be a crime, because some of the weapons they've already shown, a skull crushing machine gun. I mean, come on. I need this. I need the Captain America shield with my Doom guy. Put it in my veins. Dying Light: The Beast. Not much to say here. Dying Light is a pretty solid series. I love the first one way more than the second one, but I still rather enjoy the second one, and it is a lot better now than when it was at launch. At launch, I had a lot of gripes with it, and for me, it landed about a 5 or 6 out of 10. But now I've been playing through it again to see where it is, and I started a brand new character just to make sure I got like the full effect of the new playthrough, and it does seem to lean much more in the way of the first game, where volatiles are more a part of the experience, which was a big gripe of mine, is that you wouldn't even see them in the original release unless you sought them out during the day inside of buildings where you weren't supposed to go. Whereas in the first game, they chased you down at nighttime and had you fearing going out in the dark. So here's hoping that Dying Light the Beast can bring back some of the pulse pounding goodness of the first game, but some of the over-the-top action of the second one in good balance. Because Kyle Crane being back in this one with kind of superpowers, it seems like a weird idea, but I'm kind of on board. Now, Elden Ring Night Rain. Oh boy, this one is a big one. When it was announced, no one even believed what they were seeing. I see Naruto running. I see the Nameless King from Dark Souls 3. I see wall running. I see just random bosses and different kinds of weapons. I see Sekiro parrying. I don't know what I'm looking at, and I want to play it. Enough said. Expedition 33. This is the most mysterious game on this list. I think it looks so good though. The presentation of this game is enough to get me playing. Wow. Like, just look at it. Look at this game. Oh, I need it. Enough said. I don't even know much about this one, just look at it. Ghost of Yotei. Come on, if you don't like Ghost of Tsushima, where have you been? Come on. Don't be stubborn. I know, Last of Us fans hate it for reasons. We don't need to talk about it. Doesn't matter. Both great games. Ghost of Tsushima sequel was inevitable, and I am so happy we're gonna get one. A little sad we're not continuing Jin's story, but I have faith in the studio and in the game series, and I think this is gonna be a great game. GTA 6. Yeah, I don't think this needs explanation. Everyone's seen the trailer. You know what it is. You know everything there is to say. But you might not know, I played GTA 5 for the first time last year, and I might be one of like 2% of people on the entire planet that might have said that. At least it feels that way. Killing Floor 3. Killing Floor 3 looks so good. I'm a big fan of Killing Floor 2, and oh boy, I will be front and center when this releases. You believe it. Little Nightmares 3. I love the Little Nightmares games. 1 was a good little experience. 2 brought a crazy writing experience with a very interesting twist at the end that elevated that game way beyond what I was expecting. I am a little worried that it's by a different studio, but excited nonetheless, because this is co-op, and I think sharing the experience with another person could be really fun, especially if you have a significant other to play with. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater Remake. Oh boy. 1, that's a mouthful. 2, I am so scared. I never wanted Konami to touch Metal Gear Solid with a 10-foot pole. I didn't trust them for a long time, still don't. However, everything I've seen of this looks pretty darn faithful, and I'm willing to give it a shot. So we'll see how this pans out, being they have made some good calls recently, especially with Silent Hill. So fingers crossed that this turns out well, because guarantee when I play through it, I'm gonna have some words. So look forward to that, because as someone who is obsessed with Metal Gear Solid, and especially the third one, I will definitely have words about this. Now finally, and almost best for last, because I adore the last game, The Outer Worlds 2. And it still is a struggle for me not to say Wilds to this day. But man, when this game was announced, this trailer had me laughing. It had so much humor. I'm so with it, because that was one of the good things about The Outer Worlds, is its balance of humor with kind of serious stakes and very kind of messed up consequences. It had a very dark sense of humor, and I really enjoyed that. And I even enjoyed the smaller scope of the game. However, I do hope it's much bigger this time, as that felt more experimental, and I hope this feels like a more fully fleshed out game. And I hope there's no shenanigans like with the Spacer's Choice Edition, which significantly degraded the art style of the game in favor of fancy lighting, and then it ran like crap. So here's hoping the Outer Worlds 2 can correct that by being everything the original release was, and then some. That is my What's the Tea. This was a fun one to make. I have wanted to talk about a lot of these, and chances are I'm going to talk about them more in the future, just with their own dedicated videos as things go on. If you made it this far through the video, thank you so much for listening, and subscribe if you want to hear more from me, or if you want to see different videos from me, whether that's just comedic, dumb crap that me and my buddies are up to, or my unhinged opinions on some games that people definitely don't agree with. Anyway, have a good one. I will talk to you guys later. Take care.